My name's Katie and welcome to my channel. We are back at Joey Mullen's house, so the king of DIY, to see his incredible fish
just right on time.
Gallery. Yeah, right on time. Perfect timing. We were here pretty much exactly 1 year ago and did a full tour of everything. Some things are the same, some things are different.
Piranha tank's the same, the plants are longer, and the fish are bigger.
Well, you're in for a treat seeing the Piranha tank, especially if you haven't seen it before. This tank is my favorite tank in the gallery, I would say. It is just gorgeous. How many piranhas in this tank?
I added 30, but I've never counted more than 26 at once. You'll notice that some of them hide within the plants, and they only want to come out when it's time to eat and that sort of thing. But the plants are real, obviously the fish are real, but the rocks and the backgrounds are fake. Those are those aqua decor. That actually used to be in the 2000 as one big tree that was like 6 feet tall. But I couldn't deal with the humidity in here, having 2,000 gallons of water exposed. In only 550 square feet, it got pretty bad. But I think there was a wall here last time you were in here. And that's like, yes. As we transition throughout the gallery, you're gonna see some things that nobody has seen yet. Not even my viewers, so. Depends on when this video comes out. I'll try to rush mine
exciting.
Out. But
no, I'm gonna get mine out first.
I can get these guys to come out more.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Part of their training. I pet them a little bit and then I feed them. Do you want to pet them?
No, you don't. You're being serious.
Let's put some juice in there so they know that your hand might be food. One of the things I do before I feed them is I put some of the shrimp juices in there. And I believe that's all of them. There might be a couple hiding. But I think over time, accidentally, they'll get bit. Like even one of them has a bite out of the back of his back here.
Yeah, I was looking at that actually.
That's relatively common once they get a little bit bigger, but it heals perfectly and you'd never notice it eventually. None of them get infected or die from it, and it's not causing any sort of structural damage to him or long-term damage. No. It's common, and that's why that happens when I feed a whole fish or one big meal, as opposed to a bunch of bite-sized stuff, because they fight over it and accidentally, dust up everything and then accidentally bite one another.
Yeah, and that's probably what would happen to my finger if I put my finger in there.
Let's jump over finger size. Well, this way you'll notice one will grab one and then they run off. But they're getting better knowing that there's going to be enough for everybody. But even when one runs away, the others chase it.
Oh yeah, I can see one at the back.
And yeah, see now they're just accidentally, this is when the accidents happen.
Yeah, when they swarm.
Yeah, I think there's 26 in here. No, there's more.
Well, and believe it or not, there's actually tetras in there too, but they tend to hide.
Yeah, there are tetras in there. They've laid eggs at times, but that's as big as the red-eyed tetra would get. They're done growing. These are adults. I think the tetras alone are about 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, wow.
But so I'll feed them continuously until they stop going after the food as a pack. So if they just grab one, like there's one left and they don't seem too excited about it, but I'll see how he grabbed that piece and nobody really cares. They're full now.
Wow, it doesn't take much.
No. So maybe about anywhere from half pound to a pound of food a day. And I only feed them every 2 or 3 days.
And what I love about this tank too is the plants in it. Mm-hmm. Like you don't normally see a monster tank like that is scaped with beautiful plants like hairgrass, or not hairgrass. What's this actually called?
That is a type of it's Sagittaria, dwarf sag.
Right.
I can't remember. It might look like I'm a planted aquarium master, but this, I had no idea why it's working. The lighting is just shop lights that you would find in a garage, or you hang them out, in your shed or something. They used to be incredibly popular, but the lighting has changed so much in our industry that you can really use LED shop lights so long as you're getting the right spectrum and intensity out of them, and it can maintain and grow plants no problem. Instead of me spending thousands of dollars to light this tank, I think I spent 120.
Yeah, and this has been super easy for you to maintain as well, right?
Yeah, I'll do a water change sometimes, but that's it.
And then fertilizing the plants, do you have to do that at all?
No, they do it.
They just do it. Wow.
Yeah.
So you can literally set this up and then just set and forget it, pretty much. Just do a water change every now and then.
Well, a lot of people thought that piranha were boring, and I think in the right environments, this is how they act. However, they have the foliage to kind of hide inside of, and when they do that, sometimes there's not a single piranha out here. and they just remind me of like little velociraptors running along in throughout the plants.
Through the plants.
These types of plants shoot off runners, and they're all adult plants. This is as big as they're going to grow. Nothing needs to be maintained at all.
It probably helps that you got them quite small and grew them out as well, because they can be quite skittish kind of fish. Like they have that reputation of being carnivorous and like crazy, like they're going to eat you, but really they're quite shy.
In the right numbers though, and in the right tank, they can be a beautiful fish to have. They do shimmer, they do look really good. They are, you know, an eye catcher type of fish, and everybody knows what a piranha is. And in fact, piranha was the first fish I ever kept in the hobby, like 22 years ago. I had an individual piranha in a 10-gallon tank. Eventually came back to them and been keeping them for a few years now. But I think this tank is rare because not only is it like a big monster-sized tank that it's not uncommon to plant it like this, but it's uncommon to dedicate a massive tank that's heavily planted as lush as this to piranha. I think when you first came, this grass was like kind of sort of coming out, and I was going to pluck it out because this is just pool filter sand, and there's not even an inch. Like there's the bottom of it, you can see.
Oh yeah.
With enough wind, or I'm sorry, with enough circulation, it literally blows it apart. So these are sending out runners, and sometimes you can see the roots. Yeah, there's one.
Oh yeah. See it there.
So this one sent out runners to this, and that's how they spread. So once it started happening, I left it alone because I was like, you know what, screw it, let's have the whole tank be planted. But I ran into an issue of why is it really growing really well over here and only sparsely over there? And I've come to the conclusion it's one of two things. That's a fraction of a little bit less substrate, but the other thing is the flow in the tank has a big wave maker that's going like this.
Yeah.
So it's going in a circular motion, and I think these plants are getting more
like
circulation. Like you can see them moving. So I think that has a lot to do with it. The lighting's the same.
Well, in the wild, do they live in planted areas like this, or do they have more like driftwood and
most
stuff for cover?
Most river fish are not what you think. It's like it's just a silt bottom. Sometimes there will be some wood and some plants and that sort of thing. But when people think like an Amazonian style tank or like having a fish tank that's like wild, a lot of the times it's way prettier than the biotype or biotopes that people are trying to create, because a true biotope a lot of the times is not visually pleasing. You got to be like a big nerd to do one of those tanks.
Yeah, who would do a biotope tank? Not me.
Now they're doing this. So you see how they're all facing the same way?
Yeah.
So at one point they used to always face that way.
Oh.
And the reason being is because they're swimming into the stream.
Right.
So depending on the flow in your aquarium and the circulation, you can technically control how your fish will display. So originally the water flow was over here and was blowing this way, so they were swimming into the flow that was coming at them. And that's when the plants started coming out. When I switched it, I got them to swim the other way, but then the plants started growing really well over here, because at one point it was doing really well over there.
Interesting. So it is a lot to do with the flow then.
Yeah, the flow in your aquarium is everything. So a lot of my fish tanks have a tremendous amount of flow.
I like seeing it too. It just makes it look better when you've got that surface agitation.
Well, a lot of people don't like when I don't like to have my water level to the top. Yeah. I like to see this.
I like that too.
I like to see it. I like to look across it.
Yeah, it makes it look healthier. Yeah. I find like when it's stagnant, it doesn't look so healthy. It makes me feel like they're deprived of oxygen when I don't see that flow.
So we do have a couple holding tanks that come up next. They're literally just holding tanks. They're a pair of 180-gallon aquariums that are here. Oh, I'm taking them out of here as soon as I can. They're just a huge eyesore. I'm only going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 big tanks out here, and then maybe a few more small ones, because with Tamara having her fish room now we're up to like 20, 30, 40 fish tanks, and I think that's just too much. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you said that you're trying to do the final version of the gallery as well. Like that's what you're.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on and working towards. Is like every time everybody talks about the Piranha Aquarium and how awesome it is and how beautiful it is, but why don't I just do that with every tank?
Yeah, and make them all the best tank ever. I think it's a great idea.
I'm done setting up tanks to inspire and show people new scapes, new types of fish, etc. I think I'm just gonna do some really cool tanks, which is bringing on the 2000, and now it's nearing. Everybody being an adult in here. Of course, the Asian Arowana is absolutely massive, but the new scape in here as well is probably the best. I do have stingrays coming in here, and the tank we were just looking at also has Altum angels for another tank, but this is the same situation where I feed them the same food, so almost every fish in the gallery eats the same thing.
Yeah, they all just eat shrimp, hey?
They'll eat shrimp, scallops, tilapia, dry foods like pellets and whatnot. But the pellets and stuff on video isn't like that exciting to watch. So a lot of the times it seems like I'm always feeding shrimp. It's just because they show up on video and the fish go crazy for it a lot of the times. But in a few minutes, everybody's going to start coming out once they taste. We have Severums, Geophagus, we've got Oscars, the Asian Arowana, King Kong parrots. But now here comes the catfish.
Ooh, whereabouts?
He's right there.
Oh my gosh, he's actually coming out.
Yeah, so he's one of the rarer types of shovel-nosed catfish. He's like some sort of platinum xanthic, half and half. I don't really know for sure exactly what he is. He was a gift a while ago, and I ended up keeping him.
Yeah, he's so cool.
There you go. He's got a piece. So he scours the tank looking for his, and then he just goes lays up in that plant every single time.
Isn't his name Wiener or something?
Yeah, I didn't know if I could say that here.
His name's Wiener.
Well, he's a scaleless fish, and he's shaped like a hot dog.
Yeah, makes sense.
Reminded me of a wiener.
And then your beautiful Arowana. So last time we came, this Arowana used to actually be above the tank. So he used to be swimming up there, but I actually really like him in here. It's a boy, right? Boy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
apparently.
He's a thick boy. And so he looks beautiful in here because you can actually get more of a close-up of him. I mean, he's gone behind the trees at the moment, but when he comes up, it's really something to see. Like when he's right in front here, you can see the full size of him. He's just
really
huge.
big.
Do you know how long he actually is?
He's about 2.5 feet, 2 feet, something like that.
Nice.
He's almost full grown. Asian Arowana typically only get to about 24 to 30 inches, which is 2 to 2.5 feet. It's a relatively smaller species of the Arowana, but they get incredibly robust. One of the things you want to look at with this guy is his body shape. He's not fat, and a lot of people overfeed their Asian Arowanas until they become obese, and it's incredibly unhealthy, shortens their lifespan. But that's something that I focus on with a lot of my fish, is not overfeeding, and that's how I can get a lot of my fish that you would just see at a local fish store. Some people, even my regular green Severums, think that these are such a lot of people don't even believe it's a green Severum, but it all has to do with the fact that I focus on raising them and not trying to power feed or get them as big as possible, as fast as possible. I want to focus on coloration, finnage, and body shape, which starts with diet, water quality, and environment.
I see a bicher coming out too.
Yeah, we do have a bicher in there.
I was going to say too, you can really see that, like the colors of your fish are really incredible. You can see that they're very healthy. And I think that's great, focusing on the quality of the food instead of just the quantity of trying to grow them as big as possible quickly. And he's just gorgeous. Like, I know you said that he's not overweight or anything, but the girth on him is quite incredible, because they look like quite a thin, slender fish normally, but when you see him, like, he's like maybe that thick, I would say. Like,
his nickname's Girth Brooks. Girth Vader.
Girth Vader. Did you just make that up then?
Yeah. So usually we don't have to be on our knees in front of the 2000, although if you want to pray to something, this is what it should be in the gallery. We usually have a bench over here, but I had to move it because I'm building a 16-foot long plywood aquarium. It's currently scaped and undergoing some testing and slowly raising the water level. But the theme of this is very simple. The scape is river stones collected locally, manzanita intertwined and kind of laying all over it, covered in Java moss. I just did this yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Or the day before, I think.
Yeah, I was trying to get this done as quickly as possible so we could possibly add the fish in with Kaity here, but it's just, I'm rushing it and some things went wrong and I got to do some fixing, and just with like the plumbing and things like that, you should never rush these big projects. But the idea with the scape is very simple. It looks like it's barren over here, but all the water's going to be flowing this way. We have a massive wave maker in the background that produces about 6,000 gallons of water an hour, or 7,000, I forget what it is. It's not plugged in right now, just a couple of canister filters are running it. The water's going to be coming, not rushing, but mostly flowing this way, and as you can see, it's kind of like trails off like that as well. And then we have this big open barren space. The fish that are going in it are Altum angels. We've got a dozen Altum angels here already. And then I want to do a bunch, and I'm talking maybe 500 to 1,000 tetras, Corydoras, snails, most likely nearite snails, so I don't have an explosion. Or I'll figure something out. I'd also like to do some types of loaches and just have like a really fun, interesting tank. But the downside to this tank is it's like very brand new and very brand new looking on the inside. And it's not finished. I still have to do some painting and repairing and make the outside look better. But over time, as this aquarium ages and gets coating of algae on the background, and it becomes even like a little bit more dirty looking, this tank with time is going to get better and better and better. And all of this moss all over this wood is going to completely and absolutely cover it. This tank is partly inspired by, I used to do a rainbow fish tank. In a 375 gallon tank, I added, I think it was like 200 or 300 Iranian red rainbows. And that was by far my favorite plant to tank. And then of course, the Piranha tank is now, but in my opinion, nothing tops that rainbow fish tank. However, I think this might rival it. You might be thinking, well, 12 fish for a 16-foot long tank. If you know how big an Altum angel gets, they're not your typical angelfish. They'll get like a foot tall or a foot and a half tall. They become absolutely monstrous inside. And having 12 little ones right now might look little, but they're going to grow and they're going to get big. The downside with Altums is they are reputed to be a little bit more difficult to keep than discus. They don't ship well. They're incredibly finicky, hard to keep, etc., etc., etc. But play your cards right, cross your fingers, the payoff to keeping them and getting adults. I mean, have you ever seen an adult Altum angel in person?
Yes,
I
they're
haven't.
incredible. Oh, you haven't?
No,
really?
never.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So Ross at RC Aquariums used to have them, and he had them in like a tank that was on the second story, but it was on the edge, so you could see it when you walked in, and they were just magnificent. He kept them as pets because he didn't want to sell them, but then I think he ended up getting a really good offer for them.
How much would he sell them for? Like, how would you price that?
I think they were a few $100s each or something.
Oh, minimum, because the ones that I got were $100 a piece.
Yeah.
And they were just tiny little ones.
Well, yours are wild caught too.
Yeah, they're what?
They're wild caught, aren't
Yeah,
they?
they're all wild caught.
So they're the ones in the tank that are over there, so they're just small at the moment. But yeah, their bodies, when they're fully grown, their bodies like that, and then they have the huge fins that hang down. They're just gorgeous.
This tank will be phenomenal in some point in time. The 2000, of course, is iconic. The 700 gallons, great. But then I really like pet fish, and I think it's...
He's actually out too.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest pet fish you can have is an electric eel. So this is my electric eel. If he wants to shock, you can feel it through the glass. So it's not glass, it's acrylic, which is a better conductivity than glass, so it does travel through. But he's a little under 3 feet right now. He's going to grow to 5. They can produce up to 600 volts of electricity. I have touched him. I do know what it feels like, and it is incredibly painful for a very split second. It's a jolt. They don't electrocute you like zzz. It's more like a zzz, like very fast. But they could do it over and over and over again, like zzz, 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 zzz. But I touched him, and anything in the water felt it. It just went right up my arm.
Yeah.
However, boys are curious, and we do dumb stuff sometimes, and that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to touch it just to see what it would feel like. You know it's electric, and I can tell you it's an electric eel, but it doesn't really make sense. And you're like, oh, does it like maybe like an elephant nose fish that produces very small electrical pulses to navigate throughout the water? No, this is worse than putting a fork in your wall.
Well, it does
socket.
it to eat, right? Like it just on its prey, doesn't it?
Well, it's got a couple of different organs in its body. One of them, its hunter's organ, I believe, is the biggest organ. And it's used to shock and make other fish, knock them out. And then it's got another organ, because you can see its little eyes. I wouldn't even call those eyes. He would definitely need glasses. But he also has a smaller organ that he uses for navigation, like sonar, like some species of elephant fish. The electric eel, in fact, though, isn't an eel. It is a knife fish from the knife fish family. So they're not territorial. They can't. I was thinking I want 2 or 3 in here, but I also don't want him to stop acting like this, because this is one of the most active electric eels you'll find. And he's very responsive. I've only moved him out here for a few weeks, but I've been waiting for him to act like this, because if I want to feed him and I want him to perform for the I'll show you.
Yeah, let's feed him. Yeah, you can really see, like, he looks like a knife fish, how he's got that little flowy fin underneath.
Undulating. So watch this. All you got to do to get his attention, we'll wait till he goes back. He can see me, but I feel like more of a shadowy figure to him. I think he knows I'm going to feed him.
He does. He somehow knows.
Well, he can also taste it from the other tank because these tanks are connected at the filter below here.
That's right.
But what I'll typically do is knock on the glass and then he'll start going crazy.
He's getting ready.
Yeah, but we got to be careful because even that, he'll jump through the air.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. We don't want that.
He'll come out. So, but yeah, he's a very interesting fish to have. Eventually, I'm going to hook up a sign above his tank that lights up when he shocks. But my only problem is I don't know what I want the sign to say. Well, I've asked my subscribers and they all just wanted curse words, but I'll ask yours. If I do an electric eel sign, what should it say? Should it say hello, or that was shocking, or maybe just a lightning bolt?
Oh yeah, that'd be cool too.
Yeah, this will work now. See? He knows what it means. So a lot of the times you can teach your fish and train your fish very simple things. One of the things you can do is very simple things before you feed, like knocking on the glass. And one person that has a very famous video doing that is Takashi Amano. When he stood in front of his big angelfish tank, he used to tap on it and all the fish would come up. I was like, damn, that would have took some time to do, but you can train. See, his eyesight is horrible. He knows the food's in there, but he can't find it.
Yeah, when we had a pond, we used to do it with the goldfish. You would just wiggle your finger, like on the surface of the water, and they would sense that and then come in for food.
So he knows more's over here.
You can really tell he's blind, eh?
Yeah, well, I find the longer he spends in a tank, the better. And one of the things I can't do is move things around, because I feel like he knows that's there. He just can't really find it right now because it's so small. There he goes.
There we go. Good
but his taste and sensory are really good.
Do they have lungs, like lungfish?
They can breathe out of the water, yeah.
Yeah.
They're a nightmare.
Yeah.
Technically, they could shock you, zap you, bite you, come out of the water and get you.
Well, they can stop your heart too, right?
You'd have to be relatively unhealthy and quite small.
It makes sense though, because it's like how you might have a pacemaker, right? And like that can help some people's hearts. But then if this little guy is going to be like shocking you in weird ways, it might kind of throw your rhythm off, like the pace of your heart.
Well, I also find that he'll start trying to shock you a little bit if you come near him. So within 2 feet, if I'm in my hands in the water, because I had to test, I wanted to know how am I going to clean his tank. I put my hand in, and if I'm within 2 feet of him, I can feel it. And I can go closer and feel it and feel it and feel it. And he's just, it's almost like he's warning me, but I wonder if he's like, just senses me in the water. But if I touch him, whew,
that's
it's
when
really bad.
Because he's threatened. So he's like, get away from me.
It gets really bad that way.
How cool.
So I've been doing saltwater tanks off and on for about, I want to say 16 or 17 years. And I've done reefs and anemone tanks and stingray, saltwater stingray tank, as many different types of saltwater as you can imagine. And they're beautiful and I love them, but I only like to look at them like once or twice. I don't really like having them. As weird as that might sound, like you might say, oh, that's a cool fish, but you don't want it. You'd like to look at it, you could appreciate it, but you don't want to have that as your only fish, or unless like you're in a situation like this. But when it comes to salt, it's always been the same way for me. And so I've recently decided I'm going to stop trying to do cool saltwater tanks and do something that I think is awesome. So I've created this boneyard of rock. The flow is turned off right now. I stole their pump because it used to be really powerful. But over here, Tamara, is a lionfish. This is my favorite saltwater fish of all time. I don't know if he's going to eat. He's been acting different now that I've shut the flow off a little bit. But eventually, I want to have a massive lionfish in there. Just one. There's another one in there. But these guys are wild caught. The other one won't eat anything I'm offering, so I think I'm going to have to give him to somebody else that's willing to feed him live, because I'm not. Well, here he comes. He might eat. But I got them at the same size, and he's only eaten once since I had him, and it's been like 2 months, so I'm starting to stress.
Yeah.
But how can he stay alive without eating is what I'm thinking.
Well,
wait.
Wait.
This could be the first time we capture him eating on camera. No?
Yeah, no wonder he's so much smaller. He's brown today. He was black yesterday. These guys are actually native to Australia, I'm pretty sure. Like in the
They're
waters
found in
around
all
it.
over the waters. Unfortunately, they're an invasive species as well.
In
Florida's
Florida.
dealing with them a lot.
Yeah.
They don't know how they got there. Some say they were hobbyists put them in. Others say that eggs traveled through that underwater.
The Pacific Ocean or something.
Yeah.
Or like.
But I'm not in Florida. I can't release these to the wild. I understand that some people hate them and they eat them, they poach them, kill them on site, etc. I understand it. I still think they're cool fish because I remember the first time I looked at a saltwater book and seen one of these guys in there, I thought their fins were so cool. They were like peacocks.
Yeah, and they've got these like little antennas almost that are really
Those
cool.
are venomous.
They're the venomous spikes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the reason why they're shaped like this is when they're approaching a prey, they will spread out their pectoral fins, which are these like feather-looking things, to look bigger, look like they have multiple eye spots on them. It also helps with our fighting. That's why there's a stripe through their eye. There's camouflaged. But then they gulp down their prey. Full grown, his wingspan is going to touch almost both sides of the tank.
That's awesome. I've never seen them that big. Seen them maybe that big, but not like...
No, they get big.
Yeah. That's cool. You got an urchin in there too.
Yeah, it's kind of like a spiky little tank.
Little
I kept him
urchin.
from the last ones we did. The sea urchin's interesting and fine, but you don't want to get step on one and or... Obviously, it's like a porcupine. The quills go in you, but the thing about these is you can't pull them out. They're too brittle, and they break. And you have to hit them with like a beer bottle or break them up inside of you so that they'll dissolve in your body because you can't take them out.
So my friend Nick Cracker
Is that where it
eats
was?
everything. Yeah, you probably saw it on Julian's
No, I seen
video.
somebody hitting themselves on the foot
It
because
might
they
have been
stepped
Nick.
on one.
Nick eats them. And then Julian went out with him and he got it stuck in his hand. He's got a video of it, trying to actually pull it out. And it's just breaking,
Yeah.
and then it's stuck in there.
The one I saw, somebody stepped on it, and that's where I learned where. And then they stepped on it, and I can see like the dots. And he was like smacking it with like, I think it was a can or a beer bottle or like a club of some sort. I was like, why is he doing that? And it's because they can't be pulled out. You have to break them up inside your body and let your body naturally absorb them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
So this half of the building is kind of like all my pet fish. These are the dope tanks that'll make people smile and get inspired and like big aquariums. And big tanks don't always have to have monster fish. But then I have my pets. Tyrese is my Pahaka puffer. He's several years old at this point. I wouldn't say he's max size. He'll probably maybe put on another inch or two, but he's definitely an adult. Last night, we had to move some Severum eggs from the 2000. They were on this rock here, but I couldn't get the rock in the bottom tank. That's where they were originally going to go. I couldn't get it in there, so I had to put it up here. And I noticed the next day that Tyrese was fanning the eggs, like as if he was going to parent them. He'd fan them, and then he'd come back over here and blow inside the moss. What happened was sometime last night, the eggs actually hatched, the fry fell off, they got blown over here, and Mr. Tyrese ate them. But even more, I'm just putting out a video in a few minutes showing all of that. It's funny.
Oh yeah, we should go watch that video.
Kaity is the one that got in the tank to rescue them. It's premiering
Are you going
right
to
now.
show it? Oh, is it premiering right now? All right, we'll pause this one. We're going to go watch the video.
If you want to see Kaity get in the 2000, oh, and then we have he doesn't even deserve camera time. He's such a jerk. This is my flower horn, and he's an absolute menace.
He is. Maybe I'll try pat him in a little bit with his cute little buck teeth, little spiky teeth.
But yeah, that is the Aquarium Gallery. That's where it's at right now. Hopefully in the coming months, I get everything fixed and finished up. But I got to get it done before August because on August 17th, Kaity's coming to watch me get beat up in a boxing match in Long Island, New York, sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission, live on pay-per-view and in person. And I will be the main event. So if you want to see that, Kaity's got her own links in the description if you want to come in person and or get the pay-per-view. If you click Kaity's links, Kaity gets a little piece of that, so help support her.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the gallery again. Make sure you check out Joey's video of me getting in this tank as well, which is something I never thought I would do. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like, comment down below. Don't forget to leave your comment about what you think we should call the sign, put on the sign for the electric eel. And I guess that's that. And make sure you subscribe as well. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos. I'm about to go see Tamara's fish room as well.
You're going to like her fish room.
Yeah, you're going to like seeing that. And then while I'm in Canada, UK, and America, there'll be heaps more videos coming out. So make sure you subscribe if you want to check them out. And thanks again, Joey, for showing us your fish gallery.
We'll see you in August and then probably in 1 year from now to the day.
Yes,
You'll be
I think it is. I will probably be back again. All right, we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.